Trans fat comes from a mixture of vegetable oil and hydrogen gas. Hydrogenated oil is cheaper and lasts a lot longer than other cooking oils.
Calorie for calorie, trans fat is the worst thing that's in our food supply.
Experts estimate trans fat kills 30,000 Americans a year. The government says consumers should limit their intake to no more than 2 grams of trans fat per day and eliminate it completely if possible.
To many, trans fatty foods like French fries and cookies seem harmless because they're perceived as being a part of Americana. The consequences, doctors say, are real.
Trans fats really are a very concerning aspect to the current American diet.
Dr. Scott Miller is a San Diego area board-certified plastic surgeon who has performed thousands of body contouring procedures on patients who try to deal with the after effects of eating too much of a bad thing.
Not only do they cause high cholesterol, plaque accumulation in the arteries and subsequent heart disease, potential for heart attack and stroke, but they also create an addiction to that taste and that flavor. These high trans fat foods are so much a part of the way we're raised that when you look at some of these foods we grew up with packed in our lunches every day, it's hard to see them as something bad.
Although most of America's trans fat intake has traditionally come from processed foods containing partially hydrogenated oils, a fifth of the trans fats in the American diet used to come from animal products, 1.2 grams out of the 5.8 total consumed daily on average. But now that trans fat labeling has been mandated, and places like New York City banned the use of partially hydrogenated oils, the intake of industrially produced trans fat is down to about 1.3. So that means about 50% of Americans' trans fat intake now comes from animal products. According to the official USDA nutrient database, cheese, milk, yogurt, burgers, chicken fat, turkey meat, bologna, hot dogs contain up to about between 1 to 5% trans fats. They also found small amounts of trans fats in non-hydrogenated vegetable oils due to steam deodorization or stripping during the refining process. Now, is getting a few percent trans fats a problem, though? The most prestigious scientific body in the United States, the National Academies of Science, concluded that the only safe intake of trans fats is 0. In their report condemning trans fats, they couldn't even assign a tolerable upper daily limit of intake because any incremental increase in trans fatty acid intake increases coronary heart disease risk. There's been controversy, though, as to whether the trans fats naturally found in animal products are as bad as the synthetic fats in partially hydrogenated junk food. The latest study supports the notion that trans fat intake, irrespective of source, animal or industrial, increases cardiovascular disease risk, especially, it appears, in women.